I got to see Aquaman early this past weekend at a special screening for Amazon Prime members, and I have to say, I was quite surprised at how good it was. If you're unfamiliar about Aquaman but love watching movies and are interested in how they're made, this review is for you. Hi, I'm Isaac, and this is Movie University. On this channel, I do movie reviews and educational videos on the entertainment industry and movie technology, so if you like what you see today, consider subscribing. After a couple of hiccups along the way, DC has finally started making good movies. Man of Steel was okay, Suicide Squad was terrible, and Batman vs Superman and Justice League were mediocre at best. Following on the success of Wonder Woman, DC has embraced and appeared to have left their dark movie storylines to the wayside. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam all appear to be changing course from Batman vs Superman, Justice League, and Suicide Squad and give us a more family-friendly and humorous storylines. Aquaman tells the story of Arthur Curry returning to Atlantis to take his place as the King of the Seven Seas. I'll admit I had extremely low expectations of this movie going into it. I was not impressed with how Aquaman was presented in Justice League. The first trailer released back in July showed a lot of fast one-liners that I didn't care for.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Despite some critics not liking it, I think Aquaman is a great movie and a step forward in the right direction for the DC cinematic universe. I'm not saying Aquaman is a cinematic masterpiece, but it's not as bad as Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic would have you believe. Let's break down what worked and what didn't on screen. The story for Aquaman is written quite well, I think. Although it's an origin story, there isn't the typical story beginning at the childhood with accompanying visuals the first half of the movie. Instead, the origin story begins in present day with small amounts of flashbacks spread throughout it, giving the movie a very holistic feel in terms of how Arthur Curry becomes the Aquaman. For someone like me who doesn't know a whole lot about Aquaman, the writers do a great job of showcasing the Seven Kingdoms and Arthur's past while not allowing the lore of them to overpower the main storyline, which is Arthur becoming the king. Aquaman is filled with bright, vibrant colors and a more family-friendly atmosphere, with a lot of humor. It really does feel like a comic book come to life. Alongside the positives of the movie are some negatives. The second act of the movie slows down a bit, with the desert scenes seeming unnecessarily long. There are some cheesy dialogue moments sprinkled throughout the movie, and the Manta villain seems like something that could have been saved for the sequel. However weak some of the story elements may be, Momoa's acting was the worst part of the movie for me.
But what could be greater than a king?
Jason Momoa is not the best actor. He's basically the new Arnold Schwarzenegger. All muscles, big name movies, no acting talent. He plays his normal real-life self in every movie. However, for the way the character of Aquaman and Arthur Curry are written, he works just fine. His lack of acting skills shows quite frequently during the movie, with those who play the younger versions of Arthur seeming to be better actors than Momoa. His acting aside, the rest of the cast does a decent job. There aren't any knockout performances, but there aren't any duds either. The music in Aquaman is above average for a cinematic outing. The score is composed by Rupert Gregson-Williams. You might recognize Williams' style from other big-time outings such as Wonder Woman, Hacksaw Ridge, and The Crown. The special effects in the movie are great. Of course, there's a ton of CG elements, as you'd expect. However, there are an equal amount of practical effects that impress. The camera work in this movie is very impressive. Being underwater is an environment we do not see very often. As such, the production team used this to their advantage. The camera is in a constant state of motion, and the scale of objects against the ocean floor is always impressive to watch. The most impressive part of the presentation of Aquaman is the sound. The auditorium I saw the movie in only had 7.1 built into it, but even then, the audio hemisphere was superb. The sound engineers did a really good job with directional sound, with plenty of low frequency sounds pumped into the sound channels to give the oomph you want to feel during action sequences. Discrete directional sound has been a problem for movies this year, and I feel Aquaman has done a really great job of using the side and rear speakers to help encapsulate the viewer. Sounds are also not forgotten during quieter sequences, such as when there is just the subtle sound of water swishing by the characters or through their hair. There are both large set pieces and smaller ones, such as the attack in the submarine torpedo room, that show off a well-crafted sound mix. Everything comes together in the movie's final act during the Lord of the Rings scale of combat sequences between the seven seas, with weapons fire, animal roars, and commands shouted from every corner of the room. Aquaman is by no means an Oscar contender, but it is a quantum leap forward for DC in terms of quality. Let me know what you think of the movie in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe on your way out. I'm Isaac, and this is Movie University.